Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to koha-US SEKLS special interest group. It is May. Welcome. So yeah, you all getting excited for what's going on, Jason? Getting excited for 2311. Anyone been messing around with it? No test server action.
Not yet. I haven't even begun. Like, do we know when those upgrades are happening for Bywater customers?
Yeah, it's coming up pretty, I think like June, maybe. I don't know. Because then this next one should be coming pretty quick too, the 2405.
I think someone in a meeting the other day said August, but
Okay,
I
that
don't
could
swear by that.
Yeah, I
could be
remember last year we had upgrades in the middle of the summer, and it was that big upgrade that changed the interface. So they talked about not doing that again because we had a bunch of public libraries like up in arms because it was in the middle of summer reading and it was a big thing. Um, so August sounds right to me, maybe.
wait for the summer reading to get over and then we'll mess with it.
We're already on 2311, but since that's the only version I've been on, I have no idea what the difference is from the previous one.
You just get all the features right away. You don't have to wait. Let's see, I'll see what other new features are coming in this one. You'll be able to switch a hold that's an item level hold straight to a bib level hold by a drop down menu. So that'll be nice rather than having to like create a complete new hold or something.
Yeah, that's great. We could use that definitely, especially when things get locked to item specific and then like need released backest to a next available hold because that happens frequently. And I have libraries that put on item specific holds when they shouldn't, and then the holds don't get filled. So I,
Exactly.
that's a good feature. Excited about that one.
And yeah, like ours, like we could use some merging, of some records. So like a hold gets stuck on, a record with only one item on it. So we've been going through the libraries, teaching them a lot of merging skills to start doing a little spring cleaning on that catalog.
This is why we need verbalization in the staff client. That's my plug for today.
What would that do?
So like record grouping, like Aspen does on the OPAC, where it'll group the records and you can put the hold on the group. Um, if we could do that in the staff client, that would be great. So that like we could put the holds on a series of records and it would pick whatever's available. Because right now we're either um, combining items onto a single record when they really shouldn't be because they're different editions or something, or we're having to move holds because everybody puts it on the movie tie-in version and we've all got one copy of that and like 20 copies of it before it became a movie, and the hold is on the wrong record. So if we could make the holds focus on the group of items rather than specific bib records, that would be great.
Group like the same title, but you could keep the different editions on separate. Nice. Because yeah, that's definitely what we have some records with all different editions, as long as the page number, and stuff matches up.
Yeah, we run into it a lot with large print titles because there's like a bunch of different publishers that put out the same book, and then we'll get one copy under one publisher and then 5 copies under another publisher. And technically, we don't want to combine those, but oftentimes we will just for simplicity for the patrons.
Yeah, technically. Yeah, we have so many libraries that it's kind of messy in there. Got some circ topics. One of the other features is batch extend due date based on item type. So that could be interesting. If like you want all your students to keep their laptops over the summer or something, you could just instantly change the due date.
You were mentioning before the recording started the feature to increase how long a hold waiting pickup is for certain item types. I noticed that's going into the circ finds table, so that's exciting. A new column for the circ finds table.
Oh yeah, exactly. Finally, we get another option on there.
Yeah, but that does make sense. I liked your example of like homebound patrons. Like if we want that to not show up on the holds over report for a little longer since they only get done every other week or something, that'd be a good use for us.
Yeah, give certain patrons longer or a shorter amount of time to pick it up, and then yeah, exactly.
We're finding that it takes the circ page to about 20 seconds to load. I don't know if that's a 2311 thing or just an us thing. Do you guys have that issue even though you're not on 2311?
Mine does take a couple, like once you choose the location, it takes a couple seconds for it to pop up for us,
When
yeah.
you say circ page, are you talking
The
about the circ
circ
find
map.
rules?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
rules, yeah.
I don't think mine's that slow. I don't know. Let me click around in it.
Because how many libraries do you have, Jason? Might be like,
We have around 50 at this point.
oh, okay, pretty good.
Yeah, you guys have over, or you're at like 100 in Colorado, right? Or
We're like
over.
180 right now, I think.
Oh, you're getting to close to
Yikes.
We're
200.
we're getting up there. But at least the corrections libraries all have the same rules and follow the same everything. So it makes those, 20 libraries much easier.
Yeah, to load any given library for me is like 3 to 4 seconds, I would say. So,
Yeah, when I say 20 seconds, I'm not exaggerating. I timed it with my watch.
Wow. Yeah,
and
let
I
me
would guess that has to do with your 6,500 circles that you
Yeah.
were mentioning. Like, because it is just a big HTML table on a page. So, like, it's taking a long time to generate
Yeah,
all those rows, I would guess.
yeah.
that makes sense, yeah. Because do you have it broken down by each item type? Do you use like the all category very much?
Well, I try to use the all category and it would be totally fine if there was a way to be able to have it if it would roll up to the top level so that I could say at this library for this item type have this rule, but for all other libraries have this other rule. But you can't do that. So I have to have a rule in every single library that for one library says do this, and then the other rule in all the other libraries that say do that. That's what makes it so large. So for
And I
example, all of our libraries have, or all our public libraries have temp cards. And so they can check out at that one library, but they can't check out at any other libraries.
I still have that development request in for that sort of global rule functionality, and I bug them about it because it's been a few months since I asked for the quote and stuff. And Lizette mentioned this bug. I put both. There's two bugs related. She mentioned 8137, and she was gonna try and poke at that a little bit more. It's a 4-digit bug number, so it's a retro bug, but it seems like it's got a patch and it's like the start of that functionality had been worked on, but it's not applying at this point. But she has been working on it and they've been poking at it a little bit. So
Okay, I'll
hopefully
read through
there's some
that.
movement.
Yeah, I'll read through that and tack on my plea. Ooh, that
Put
one's
some
got a lot
comments
of
on there.
comments. Yeah,
Yeah, see
that's a
if they'll
biggie.
I forget, yesterday I was looking at one, even forget what it was, but it was like 2011, 2014. The bug started. The other cool features I mentioned before the recording was switching from item level hold to bib level. So that one will be cool.
It looks like they're adding the ability to float items for library groups. So that's, we don't do that, but we do have a rotating collection where it would make sense, I think, to do that.
So it would it would be able to just go to whatever library versus needed to be sent back.
Yeah, it can do that now for specific libraries, but it looks like the feature is like you can make it do it within a library group. So like you set a group of libraries, you can float the item over to that group. I'm not really sure how it works, but it seems like good extended functionality, at least for consortia and multi-branch places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of the other ones was changing shelving location at checkout. So like if someone takes a new book and then maybe it's not new now, so you could switch it, give them longer to check it out. Switch it to display, easily back and forth. So that'll have some nice functionality. How's everyone else doing out there? All your search stuff going well?
I'm happy to say I got, with the help, I think Christopher's code, is either Christopher or George's code. It's got being able to scan driver's licenses for registering patrons. Got that working. There was one little bug which I fixed, and if I could ever get a login on the wiki, I keep trying and trying and just isn't happening. But if I ever log in, I would put in the bug fix there.
What's the bug?
There are some fields. There's an expiration date and a something other date. I can't remember what it is that you may have not be displaying on yours, but does display on ours. And when you fill in the birth date, it also fills those in. And the reason why is because the only way that you can target the birth date is by a class, not by an ID. So it just hits all the classes. So all I did was make it so that it only hits the first instance of that class, and that solved the problem.
Yeah, send me what you got on that. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a interesting revelation the other day. I've had that feature for a while, and I had this epiphany. I was realizing, well, I've mainly used that feature for new patrons, but then I was realizing, wow, if I have a patron that comes in and renews their card, and they're showing me an ID that has their updated information, I can click that button and scan it, and it will update an existing record. It's like, I never even thought about updating a record with it. So it worked flawlessly with that. So that was cool.
Driver's license instead of your library card in that instance? Is it just for the patron info?
What's that?
Like, can you use your driver's license as your library card instead?
No, we don't hold on to the driver's license number, anything unique there. All we do is we scan the back of the card, and that code on the back of the card contains all of, you know, a lot of their information, like their name and address and
Oh, I got you. Don't have to fill that
birth
all
date,
in.
right? That
Nice.
pre-populates the fields.
Oh, very cool.
I had tinkered with the idea of maybe making a button on that you can search for a patron by their photo ID card, so you don't have to type it in. So it would just look for their name in there and pre-populate that and then scan for that patron. But I don't know. That one's a little bit of a stretch.
Hi,
That's
this
a
is
cool-
Christy. I'm coming in late. So are you guys scanning the back of are you writing code to be able to scan the back of the license? Or where are you scanning this in Koha?
It's jQuery code that I wrote for Koha. So yeah, it's incorporated into the jQuery, and it adds a button on the check-in screen. So I won't demo it because you know, it reveals my information if I scan my card in there. But yeah, it adds a button on the patron edit screen where you can say you want to scan a photo ID, and then it'll grab all that information. You have to have a scanner that can read the, what is it?
A 2D scanner.
Yeah, it's a 2D scanner, but it's a different kind of a barcode on the back of there. It's not a barcode. It's I want to say, oh, it's been just too long since I've dealt with those codes. I want to say it's a PDF kind of, or something like that barcode. It's really blocky. It's not
Oh,
a QR
fancy.
code, but it reads that, and all of the information about the person that's printed on the front is basically in that code. So
Oh, impressive. Thanks, Christopher.
yeah, so that is in the jQuery library, and I have tested against several barcode scanners, and if somebody has other scanner, a different scanner that that is working with it, I can always add it to the list of tested scanners. But I've had to adjust the code accordingly because every barcode scanner reads line returns or separations a little bit differently, and so I've made adjustments according to the scanners that I've had on hand.
And where do we get to the jQuery library?
If you just Google search Koha jQuery, that wiki comes up.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
It's a super cool idea. I'm definitely going to be digging into that. Lots of potential for the libraries.
Yeah, there was a plugin. There's a plugin out there, but I can't say that that's necessarily working. When I tried it, it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work quite right, which led me to, you know, tinkering around with the jQuery, and that was one of the more exciting pieces of jQuery I put together.
Yeah, it was working better than the plugin. That's nice. There we go. Jason put the link straight to it. Bugs or anything people are running into, messing with their flow?
We're running into a situation where some items won't check in. And I don't yet see the pattern. I mean, we've had multiple libraries run into it. And it's so like you check the boxes of the items that you want to check in, and you go to the bottom and there's a button to check them in. The button doesn't become active. It stays grayed out. And I thought maybe item type was having effect, but it seems to be across many different types of item types. Don't know what's going on. I have a ticket. They weren't able to figure it out on first pass either. So they passed it along to somebody, I think a developer, to dig into it more.
Are you doing like the batch check-in? Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, I mean, remember we're testing, so we're doing like unusual things. But like say you have a patron that has 10 items checked out and you see their checkouts, and then you can click the box for each one you want to check in. So, so that then when you go down to click the button to check them in, it just doesn't become active.
We
It
only had
looks
this,
like in 2311 they split that column. It used to be one column and now it's two. So I wonder if it's related to that. Since we don't actually use the checkboxes, we discourage that because people mess things up. So that column's actually hidden for us. We just have the renew column showing.
We disabled that
wonder-
as well because in the past, I don't know if it's changed lately, but in the past, if you check those things in, it doesn't trigger any movement for those items if there's holds on them or anything. And so you have to scan them again somewhere else. So
that's bad.
Yeah. So so we just say if they have something there right there to check in, just go to the check-in screen and do it.
Okay, I will. Sounds like something I should do too.
Yeah, I've never liked batch check-in processes that don't trigger the holds or I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think it reroutes either. So if the item isn't yours, it doesn't reroute as far as I know. All it does is do the check-in. So you may have items sitting there that need to be scanned again in the check-in screen just to move along.
Good to know. Thank you.
the prisons too, because we want the physical item to be there versus people messing with stuff. A similar problem where it wasn't letting us cancel holds on the pop-up when you scanned in an item. You couldn't press the cancel, and the reason was we were hiding the field to choose why you were canceling. So like lost or whatever. So yeah, it wouldn't let you click cancel because it made you choose an option, but you couldn't see the option. So glad we finally figured that out.
So it looks like if you guys look in the chat that Mike is asking where that check-in screen is, and I could share my screen.
Let me see.
And I'll answer Mike and say, yes, you can totally just use normal check-in. We're not live yet. We're still in testing mode. So everybody's doing everything. Whatever's in front of their face, they're doing it. So yeah, it might be that in the real world, they never need to do it that way, but they are all doing it right now.
And then you're talking about the actual patron screen, right?
Yeah, where it shows the best, I'm going from memory here, where it shows everything you have checked out, and then you can check if you want to turn in multiple ones, you can check them.
Yeah. So I can just show, it looks like Mike may have figured it out, but
yeah,
can you guys see? Yeah, so it's over.
That's it.
You guys are blocking me. So here's either the check-in or the renew. So sometimes when people are working at the desk, I think that's the time when we most use it. And they're like, oh, we forgot, X, Y, or Z book. Can you renew them? And so we'll check these. And then at the bottom, you renew or check in, or if they want to renew them all. That's really the only time we use it. I don't know about anyone else, but.
But it does sound like a very good idea to hide that check-in column. So I will do that, and the libraries will complain, and I'll explain the logic of why they don't really need to ever do that.
And when I was mistaken earlier when I said the new feature is splitting that button at the bottom, not the columns. So like button is renew or check-in, and there's like in 2311 it says there's a renew button and a check-in button. So I wonder if that functionality is what's messing up your, like when it's active and not.
For that. If you check in from that patron screen, yeah, it's not triggering stuff. So just keep that in mind.
Do we know why they split the buttons? Seems kind of odd.
It's in that bug 35068. I linked just a little earlier. I haven't read through it. I just saw it in the release notes.
I think, Christopher, a couple of times I've experienced that it checks in an item inadvertently. I'm not at the desk very often, like I don't know, an hour a week. And so and then I'm like, oh darn it, did I not check, renew? And I thought I've always checked renew, but anyway, so I don't know if I haven't looked up the bug, and I'm not at the desk that often to find out, but that would be helpful for me if it said either renew or check in, because again, it's inadvertently checked something in when the patron wants to renew, and it could be just my error.
That makes sense. I mean, like I said, we hide that one column. We allow the renewals, but we don't allow the check-ins on that screen. And yeah, having both of those might be confusing, especially with staff that are hurrying through a process and they do check the wrong column. So I can see why having, if you check the wrong column and then you push that button, it's like, yeah, you might have done that.
Yeah, it seems pretty dangerous having those two right next to each other.
Yeah, I've never liked having features that only did part of the job, I've always had some issues with the holds waiting page, because they give you buttons for doing some things, and it doesn't do a complete job on those items. When we cancel hold, we want to trigger the next hold or send it back, and some of those buttons don't really do that, and you have to pay attention in those cases. If it is sending it on to the next hold or sending it home, rather than just canceling a hold or something of that nature. So having some of those tasks do incomplete processes is really a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Finally in a place where I can unmute. But the other thing that I find interesting is like some of the data tables, you can customize how many rows are displayed by default, and then like others you can't. And that the holds waiting one is a big one. Like by default, there's only 20 items that show, but a couple of libraries have accidentally canceled them all when there was like 25, but they didn't know because they thought it was weird. Oh, it just ends at M, like where they're going alphabetically to pull the holds, but there were still more there, and from 21 to 25, and we can't customize that to just show them all by default. So if you
I've never had a lot of faith in that page altogether. The only thing that I really direct people to utilize on that page is the cancel requests that we're now using from patrons. We get notified that a patron has canceled a hold, and we'll go there and print off that list. But but yeah, our process has always been, okay, just go through the shelf daily. We print slips and stick them in the the books and it has the expiration date on it. So they go through the slips and grab the ones that have ended and go in and scan them. And the nice thing is the process has been streamlined through the years. It used to be you scan it and then you cancel it and then you scan it again to trigger the next hold. Now you can scan it, cancel it, and it triggers the next hold automatically, which is really nice. So it really makes that process a lot easier, and we don't have to go print off a list. We don't have to compare a list and grab things off of a shelf. It's just, grab the stuff and check it in and trigger the next hold, basically.
Yeah. So you it sounds like you have the cron turned on for like expired holds on your hold shelf to automatically. No. Oh, okay.
No, because if it does, there's a process that's missed in all of that, and we would have to run reports and go through and still touch the items. It doesn't make any sense. If it cancels the hold, then it's showing it's available, and then we have to go hunt for it because it might not have been pulled off of that hold shelf yet. So, and plus, if it's triggering the next hold, the slip is still in there for the previous person. So, there's still a human element that plays a part in the process, and so automating that didn't make any sense whatsoever for us.
Yeah. So at least at the library that I also work at part-time, in the morning we'll look at the holds waiting. We only keep them 7 days, and so we'll look at the list and grab those holds as typically under 20. Then go through, then like select them all, cancel selected, so we can send the message that hey, and send a hold cancellation message saying, hey, your hold expired, it was too late for pickup. Let that go, and then we check them all in and to activate the next hold, put it back on the shelf, send the item home. Then also look at the holds with cancellation requests from we have Aspen, so like any time a patron cancels from there. One thing that we kind of just discovered that is a little unfortunate is like, so let's say a patron, they use multiple libraries. They come to my library, they come to Barrington, and I'm like, oh, you have a hold at East Providence. Oh, I don't need that hold anymore. So we cancel it from there. But East Providence doesn't know that I've canceled it. It doesn't show up on any expired lists. It doesn't show up on like the holds with cancellation request because I'm canceling it in Koha. Have you guys have a way around that?
So we call Mike, because that's the danger of it. So let's say a patron calls someone on the phone, or they call someone on the phone, they're like, oh, please cancel this hold. And we know it's sitting on the shelf. So like Christopher said, it could be a book that ends up on a hold list and we can't find it, in the stacks, and it's just sitting there still, on our hold shelf unless someone physically checks them. So yeah, that's the danger of that, is we just usually call the library and say, please pull this.
Yeah. Yeah, our staff our old system, the next day it would show up on the hold cancellation list. So they knew to pull it. But so I think they were a little spoiled back then.
Mm-hmm.
That is one
probably
feature
run a report on that.
That's one feature that Koha kind of missed in cancellation. Now they have this cancellation tab for patrons. A good next step would be that maybe some libraries want the process of, if you cancel it in on the staff side, that it would go to that list as well. That would be a good option, because sometimes people are taking calls in their office or at the reference desk, can't necessarily run over to the hold shelf and pull it off. Our process is we go pull it off the shelf when they make that request, and then cancel it, scan it in and cancel it then and there. Don't do it in the system first. But,
I see.
you know, I can see the value of that, but we need that mechanism in order to put those canceled holds in that tab, and that's
Right.
just not there yet, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've been meaning to like sift through all the bugs to see if that was something already, or else I'll open my own.
Also, on your earlier question or comment about the fact that you can't modify the default display on that one
Mhm.
table, that's file that bug because somebody will pick it up
Oh.
and add that. It's just the fact that they're doing that piecemeal. Like they added the table settings, and then like things just slowly get added to the table settings because it wasn't there originally. But that's a valid request, and I don't think it would take someone that long to fix if
Right.
if you put it out there.
Yeah.
Thinking about your canceled hold thing though, because that's definitely probably a problem that we have that we've just been ignoring.
Yeah,
Where
yeah, I
holds
have.
get canceled that are sitting on the hold shelf. So
I
it
think I
should
was
be
just
easy
kind of,
enough to.
yeah, I think I was just kind of ignorant to it. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just cancel that. East Providence or the other library, it'll come up on their report, and I don't think we really thought much about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have an orphaned holds report that's linked up to the Circ homepage. So I'm thinking I could just make like a yesterday's canceled holds report and link that up on the homepage as well. Just so they have access to that information easily.
Yeah, we did. We had, before that third tab started working last fall, we had a report that was recently canceled holds, and it looked for, you know, it compared like the date last seen, like, you know, it was last scanned versus the cancellation date to see anything that was canceled recently, and you haven't touched it yet.
It does seem like a dangerous feature that any staff from any library could cancel hold. You know, and if they don't communicate that in some way, that it could just sit there on the shelf and be ignored until somebody's looking for it, or it gets pulled by normal processes. It would be really good for that canceled hold, if you're going to do it in the system first, for it to land in that page until it's checked in.
Yeah, and I had also posted here, I don't know, you know, if it's like a new Oprah book club or something, but like that book, The Women, our system crashes, our holds tab crashes with like 1,000 holds because it's at like 1,500 holds right now, and we can't even place holds in Koha for that title.
That is crazy.
Yeah, we've never had that many holds on a single record. I think you're pushing boundaries here.
Yeah.
How many copies do you have of that thing?
Let me see.
Are you checking out gold bars or something? Why is it so popular?
I don't know. I felt like that book came out like last year or something. Am I on the VPN?
That's just unheard of.
Over 1,000 on one record.
So Mike, Koha's it's not even working for you on that title, like when you try to check it in?
Well, when you go to the holds tab on that bib record, you get a 500 error, page 5. You get a 500 error. Let me see, book. So Bywater put in some custom code for the holds tab. If it's greater than 999, don't make it a link, and do a little tooltip that says use Aspen in masquerade mode to place a hold for the patron. So little workarounds. Yeah, let me see how many holds are there. Yeah. Oh,
That's weird and scary.
1,050, and we have 149 items.
It's intense.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's adding all those ILL request links to the bottom of that bib record. That's what's killing it.
Mm.
Obviously, Koha needs to work that issue out a little bit. That isn't, that's a weird workaround. And if you didn't have Aspen, boy, you'd be up a creek.
Right? Yeah. We kind of ran into something similar where, so before we migrated to Koha, like several years ago, even before it was a thought, we had previously our periodicals were all you know, like People Weekly, you know, People or like Real Simple 2020, Real Simple 2021. So we ended up combining all of them using volume records in Sierra, which is basically item groups in Koha. So we would attach the item, like several items of all of like January 2020 and into that volume. So we migrated that way, and Gut and Bywater did their magic and created the item groups. However, there were like some periodicals where it was like 1,500 items, and like People Weekly was the real kicker. You go to, if a patron record, if a patron had a People Weekly checked out, when you scan that card the next time, it just says loading, please wait, and it just like never loads. So you would check out things, but you would never see anything get checked out. Some of them might have been checked out. Some of them could have had like a message, like a material specified thing, and we never knew if it had a message. So we ended up like splitting out a lot of our periodicals into, you know, People 2024 January, People 2024 February, and so that's helped a lot. And I think there was a good 100 so different periodicals that we had split out just to stop the with all the slowness.
You're using the serials tab for those, or?
We don't use serials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say we were trying to use serials because it'll like automatically add the item each month, you know, if you get the timing down, but it was difficult to set up. We never got it going.
Yeah, Bywater gave us like, it was like 1 star, do not recommend.
Avoid that. Cool. Anyone else got anything to add?
Talking about slow loading stuff, I just hadn't been paying attention to this bug, but it got pushed in 2405. That was the solution they had proposed to making like your really big bib records load faster when there's a bunch of items on it. So kind of looked at that, but it might be interesting to revisit to see, because we had the same issue. So ours are broken out by branch rather than like every branch has its own record for every magazine to keep
I
them
remember you
under
saying.
like 100.
Request those magazines from other branches, or they just stay at the single?
Typically, we don't have holds on magazines at all. So like, if somebody wants it, that's our one like items. We don't allow item specific holds, but the staff can place them like on a specific issue if they really need it. But we don't do a lot of periodical circulation at all. I mean, most of my libraries are dropping them. It's not worth the money they're finding anyways. So
Yeah, cert numbers, they're hoping. And you got the like the digital options now, you know.
Yeah, we have, I think the state subscribes to Flipster, and we have that. I think we have those records like side loaded into Aspen, so they're discoverable there.
Yeah, we were doing some side loading to get all the movies that were on Canopy to show up in the catalog.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. We were worried it would affect like a library's bid count. That's kind of how we charge people. But it does not affect that.
I never thought of that because doesn't Overdrive own Canopy now?
That I don't know, probably. Like I think yeah, Canopy like it isn't fully integrated with Aspen, so they send us like a file or something every month. But then when you're searching, it gives you so many more options for stuff to check out.
Yeah, a few of our libraries have Hoopla, which is also we have integrated into Aspen, and now libraries want to drop Hoopla because it's just becoming too expensive because Aspen is doing its job, with making it discoverable.
Yeah, we don't have Hoopla. Well, some of our libraries do, but not an overall. I always liked it because there's no waiting for like titles. It's all they're all ready all the time, unlike Overdrive. Anything else, guys, before we call it a meeting?
Oh, I do want to thank you, Jason. I borrowed one of your jQuery things to have the X button glow in the patron record. So libraries are very appreciative of that. I was testing the automatic close. But what I noticed was if I was like doing a message, if I was adding a message and I had to do like a really long detailed message, it would have timed it out from there. But because
Yeah,
I think there's
we
certain
finally
elements where it
started.
doesn't refresh the counter.
Yeah, and that needs. I mean, it was a start.
Yeah.
Like you could probably add a on key press or something so that when you're typing it restarts the timer or whatever. We finally turned it on for everybody for everything because we were just using it for statistical patrons to start, and I did have some people that didn't like it a lot, so I ended up revisiting it and making it so I can set the timing as branch specific. So
Oh,
some
nice.
libraries have one library has a 30-minute timeout. I refused to like totally take it away for them. And then I've got some libraries that are 5-minute timeout, but we've left a 3-minute timeout for most of the other libraries, and it's doing its job. So I was pretty satisfied with that.
I was gonna pair them both, like the glow and the timer. So like after 1 minute it starts glowing, then 2 minutes of inactivity starts the countdown, and then the third minute it closes or refreshes the page.
Yeah, and that's what I've got. I think I've got that all in the wiki now, where it'll do that sequence of events, but it's broken into 3 different chunks on the wiki just so you can pick and choose which pieces you want. But that's how we are set up. It's like a minute glow, 2 minutes timer, 3 minutes gone. It gets more complex when you extend the time because you have to like math out when the timer should start and add how many seconds from when the page loaded and stuff. But it's all very doable.
And what is the purpose of this? I didn't get that piece.
For us, it's a privacy thing. Like we had libraries where they would just leave a patron's checkout screen up, walk away from the computer. So we're forcing it to exit the patron's checkout screen. So that can't happen. And also we had situations where they would have a patron pulled up, check out to them, leave it up, think they pulled up the next patron, and then check out stuff to the previous patron. So it's a forced way to try and avoid some of those mistakes.
Yeah, we also had staff thinking they were checking things in from other patrons, but checking them out to whatever patron they had left to open, and then they get the email saying, I checked out these first 3 items, but not these 2. And when we go, the staff do thankfully realize it, right away, and they check them back in.
So it's forcing that patron screen to close when you're done with their transactions, or is it a time?
Yeah, it's a timer thing. So like
Okay.
after 3 minutes of not doing anything on the screen, it'll exit to the like if you'd press the exit button, it'll go to that screen. And we have the previous patron thing turned on, so they can always go back to the patron they were on if that's not what they wanted to do.
I can almost see that, I can see workflows being slightly different in different environments. I mean, I know that, like, for example, at the reference desk, if we're doing something for a patron on the phone or at the desk and we have to step away, we pulled up the record and we had to step away, grab a book or whatever, or go search for something for them and come back. If that timer timed us out, we'd have to go back to the account and maybe have to go back to where we were in the account or whatever. And so that could possibly be an inconvenience, but I guess, there's also another approach where you could maybe look at the last time anything was, I don't know if it's possible, but maybe look at the last time anything was scanned, and if it's, if you had this extended time between scans, maybe it would pop up and say, are you wanting to check out to so-and-so?
We had a system a few ILSs ago that would do that. Yeah. Some of our libraries that have, really good, keen tech people on staff, they have like the reference desk or any public service desk where they could be accessible by patrons, automatically lock the Windows user. You leave everything up on the screen, your patron record, whatever, but it'll lock the computer to protect the privacy.
You could totally just do what Christopher was talking about with my code and just do like an alert instead of making it click the exit button, because that's basically all it's doing. So you could set up an alert that says, hey, it's been this many minutes. Are you sure you're still wanting to use this patron before you can do anything else?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just worried about the limit now. I looked at my record and there's like 2 different libraries trying to do book clubs on it. We got it in like January. I don't think we'll hit 1,000 holds.
Yeah, we're at like 250 right now. Good
I
stuff,
love
guys.
these
So
books that get popular. All
the
right.
next one will be June something. June 13th. Good stuff, everyone. Thanks for coming in, and I will see you next time.
See you
All right,
guys.
thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Bye.